Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name's Lefebvre, and today I am challenging myself to use leftover paint from my palettes. So recently I made a color chart video with some gouache, and I also had some leftover watercolors in a different ceramic palette. You will see my ceramic palettes soon. They are my new obsession and collection, but that's not today's video. But anyway, I had this ceramic palette filled with leftover gouache, like not even like clumps of like nicely untouched gouache, like just everything was mixed and used. And I thought, you know what? Let's challenge myself to create something with this. And so I did, and I filmed it. And now it's in this video. So you'll see the first painting that I do, I actually don't mind. And then the second one, you will see me talk myself out of crumpling it up and throwing it away. So I decided to leave that part in the video because I felt like it was important that you guys see me in that kind of state too. I don't like everything I create. And it's funny because looking back when I was editing the video, I was like, it wasn't that bad. Why was I getting so frustrated? Which is a valuable lesson because I feel like a lot of the times when we're painting and we don't like something that we're creating, sometimes you just need to see it with a pair of fresh eyes. You need to walk away, come back the next day, and you might actually see something or some potential that you didn't see during that frustrating period. So this video is kind of a bit of a learning lesson for me in that sense, and I left it in. Am I super fond of the painting? It's not one of my best, but it was just a fun little exercise and a challenge to use all that leftover paint in my palette that would otherwise go to waste. So without any further ado, here's the video. Let's jump right in and start. Okay, so today I am giving myself a challenge to use leftover paint from my palettes. These are two of my collection of ceramic palettes that I've been collecting lately, which I love because they're other people's artwork and I get to put paint on them and then create more artwork. So I'm super inspired by them. They're my new kind of hobby to collect. So I will link these below where I got them. I believe this one I got off Etsy, and then this one was by a pottery artist that I found on Instagram. So I'll link it below, but I love them and they're beautiful. But anyway, I wanted to challenge myself to use leftover paint from my palettes. So I feel like, especially beginners, when they do a painting and then they create this kind of mess that they feel like they need to wash their palette and start new before they start a new painting. And that's not always the case. I mean, if you look at this, it's kind of a muddy mess. This was from, I believe, my gouache color chart. So this is gouache. This is leftover gouache, which ideally is not the best when it's been dried. It's a little flaky like this, but we're going to make it work. And then this is a watercolor palette. So these are my Winsor & Newton watercolors. But I am not going to touch any of these. I'm going to be using paint strictly from the mixing wells. And then from here, because there's not actual globs of fresh paint. So I want to I don't know, what is it? Environmentally friendly? Not necessarily. I don't even know if that's what I mean. But I want to try and use up all my paint instead of having it go to waste. And I want to try and create something beautiful out of it. So hopefully this will inspire you to do the same. If you have a messy palette with a bunch of extra paint that you feel like you just wouldn't typically use, see what you can do with it. So that's what I'm challenging myself to do today. I have this tiny little sketchbook from Paul Rubens. I got it in their anniversary box. I'm actually really enjoying this size. I typically paint on my large Etcher Lab cold press watercolor sketchbook, but I do love the Paul Rubens ones. I have the 5x7 as well, but I'm really enjoying this tiny one because I feel like sometimes when you work on smaller surfaces, it's a little less daunting to create this big masterpiece. You can just kind of create little doodles and it's just fun, and I don't know. I'm just enjoying it. Anyway, so I've been doodling in this. I'll show you. I did that cake, gouache cake, lemons. I did these flowers. This is all gouache. Then I painted something here, but I didn't like it, so I painted black over it, and I'm going to paint something on that another time. And then I was just experimenting with painting with leftover paint from my palette, and I actually painted this. So I thought, you know what, let's film this and make it a challenge to try and use up as much paint as I can from this leftover paint in my palettes to create something beautiful. So that is what we are going to do today. So I am going to lay this here. So like I said, this is gouache, but because there's not actually a lot of gouache on this palette, it's going to kind of react a little bit more like watercolor because it's going to be very watered down. There's not a lot of paint on here. It's a lot of leftover paint. So you can do this with watercolor if you want to follow along for the tutorial, if this is a tutorial or not, or you can just watch along. Watch. I'm really tired. It's late at night. And then this is my watercolor. But let's just have fun. I feel like with these colors, I can get some sort of landscape in there. So I think I'm going to try that. I'm going to try a little landscape here, and then maybe I'll do some florals over here. I don't know. Well, let's give it a go. So I have this Etcher gouache brush. I believe it's gouache. It's already cracking, but that's okay. And I'm going to start with a sky. I'm really literally making this up. Like, these colors are not nice, but I'm going to make it work. I'm going to try and grab this little bit of yellow. We're going to do a sunset. I'm just going to go across and gradually turn it into like an orange. Here's some orange. Here's and then maybe some more pink. So I did wet this before I started. I wet, not my paper, sorry, my paints. Look how chunky that is. It's not good. Ooh, it's not good. So this paint is from weeks ago when I did the color chart for gouache. So it is old and kind of cracking. Has little bits floating in it, but we're going to make it beautiful. Wonder if I can make a purple. I'm going to take some of this blue and mix it here. It's kind of a yucky purple, but that's okay. Maybe a bit more blue. A little bit of white. I don't know. We're making it work. That's the theme of this video. We're making it work. And I'm also using a flat wash brush, which I typically don't use either. So that's fun and interesting. Why am I using this? I don't know. It's because today is a challenge video and I want to make it a challenge. I'm just adding some darker blue underneath these kind of grayish purple clouds. That works. Is it great? No, but it's fine. I feel like I could use a smaller brush. I'm going to use my Emma Lefebvre Craftimo size 2. I'm going to get some orange. Maybe do some orange kind of clouds. And as they go into the distance, they're a little bit smaller and shorter, thinner. I feel like I could add a little bit of darkness to some of these. And should we do water? Do we have enough blue for water? That's a good question. I don't know. Do we do water? Do we not do water? I say let's do water with the little amount of blue that we have. Let's try it. Yep, we're going to try it. Okay, so I'm going to take this lighter wash. I have like a purpley color here of blue. Because I want to have some of the reflection of the sunset in the water. So that's why I'm starting off with a light wash. Ooh, there's really not a lot of blue in here. We're making it work, people. We're making it work. Yeah, this is reacting a lot like watercolor just because it's so watered down because there's not a lot of paint on the palette. Okay, so we have this really light, you can barely see it, but it is a light blue. Okay. Now this is blue here. So I wonder, yeah, we'll make it darker further down and then lighter further up. Okay, now I'm going to take my smaller brush again and I'm going to take that sky color, that orangish color, and drop it in the water. I want it to kind of mimic the sky just a bit, but with blue in it. Okay, so I'm just going back and forth with this orange color, and then I'm going to transition into this pinky color as we get further down. Still have that blue there. And then kind of create this dark purplish color. Oops. I'm going to have to define that horizon line too, because I feel like it's getting a little bit lost. I'm just kind of moving it in. Like, should I create waves? Maybe like a peak? I feel like they should be a bit darker. I'm going to add this black that's there to make it a bit darker. I feel like it should be darker down towards the bottom. Taking this black, mixing it with blue. Just doing these small peaks of waves. Like they're tiny little ripples. And then as we go further back, oops, they'll just get smaller and thinner. Maybe lighter too. We can blend some of that out. Okay, it has to be a little bit thinner as we go back and smaller. But I don't want it to be too dark. I feel like that looks good. Okay, I'm gonna want it a little bit darker towards the front. A little bit of blue there and a little bit of black. Just want it a little sharper up here. Oop, that is a lot of black. My bad. That might be a little too much. It's okay. I feel like I need to blend it out a bit. Just adding water and just kind of blending out the base of those waves. I'm trying not to lose too much of the color there though, of the sky in the water. Might add a bit more. And that pink. I like it, I think. I don't know. It's something. feel like I gotta blend it going back a bit more because it's just too dark at the front now. I feel like I overdid it a bit, but that's okay. Okay, and I feel like I need a bit more at this horizon line here. Like maybe I should put, oh no, it'll just go across. I was gonna put some like trees or mountains or something. Should I do mountains? Maybe I'll do mountains. Really light. Blue mountains, just in the distance a bit. Or maybe like purpley. I don't know, I feel like it needs a bit more darkness back there. Okay. Now, do I have... I feel like right at the shore there, it's getting kind of lost. Not the shore, like the horizon. Needs a bit more back here. I don't usually do a lot of water painting, so this is not my strong suit, but we're making it work. Okay. And I feel like I need some like white sparkle on the water. Like this little, oh, here's white, like a little chunk of white. Look at this. Try and get as much out of it as I can. Like I wonder if I can get, it's a little too bluish. Let's see if I can get, come on, come on. Get some pure white out of that. What if I took the actual chunk of white gouache and used it like this? Nah, it's not working as much as I wanted it to. Okay. It was a thought. It was a thought. Didn't work out. Okay. Come on, white gouache. I just want a little bit of sparkle to the water. I don't know if that's actually doing what I wanted it to, but that's okay. I want it just down like the center. Yeah, this is a little messy, but that's okay. All right. I mean, kinda. It's kind of sparkly. I think that's fine. Okay, that's something. You know what? We did pretty good. And look, we like barely even used a bunch of that paint. And we created a little painting. Now, let's do something else. Let's use just my watercolors here. Okay. I'm going to create some flowers, I think, just because that's my go-to. And I can't use any fresh paint. I just have to use what is in my palette. I'm going to spray this down, actually, so it's nice and wet. No fresh colors, just what is left over. All right. All right. So I'm just going to do a flower. Let's start with a rose. It's always good practice. So like if you have a bunch of leftover paint in your palette and you don't want to waste any more paint, just use the leftover paint and practice something that you want to practice. They don't even have to be the right colors. I mean, like these are pretty decently great colors for this, but you know what I mean? Just take the time and the paint to practice something that maybe you want to get better at. To be darker, but I can't use any fresh paint. It's very watery. Wanted it darker in the center, so I'm just using purple, and that is super watery, and that's not great. Nope. This is no good. Okay, let's try again. Except that I just contaminated a bunch of my pink by mixing it with the purple. It's all good. I don't like this already. We're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. Okay, so part of me wants to be like, meh, let's just scrap this and film something else. Nope, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. I don't want to use purple. I'm going to use the yellows. And we are just going to go with it. You know what? We can create a brown with this purple and the yellow for the center. Okay, let's get our green going. And mix it a bit with the purple to make it more of like a neutrally kind of green. There's a lot of doubt going through my mind right now, I will tell you that. Part of me is like, I can't put this out on YouTube. And I know I sound like I'm playing and being like, this is so funny. This is actually bothering me. Like, I want to just like scribble over it and start again. No, keep going. Keep going. What are we going to make it into? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Oops, that was green in there. I might use the gouache here too. Because I feel like it's just so blech. But I'm going to need it to dry first. Yeah, I'm going to dry this, and then we're going to use the gouache to see what we can do with this. I'm bringing in the gouache. All right. Let's take this pink, ooh, make it a little bit brighter with this red. We're gonna, there we go, because I wanted to sharpen this up a bit. Make it a little bit lighter. It's interesting. I typically don't use gouache in the same painting. I use this brown. We're gonna make this a sunflower, kind of. Now I don't have a lot of yellow, so we're gonna make it work with whatever I have in here. Meh, don't love that. Let's make it a solid, more solid color. Let's take some of that white. See if we can. That's awful. Cool. What am I doing? What am I doing? That's awful too. Okay. I feel like there's not a lot of hope for this at all. I'm hating it like so bad right now, and I want to just like crumple it up, get it out of my sketchbook. Do not like it at all. At all, at all. But I'm considering leaving it and posting this video. This is really hard for me. I don't want to do that. But I feel like people might enjoy seeing me paint and put out something that I don't like, that I'm just playing with. Yeah? I feel like that's the case. Okay, let's just keep playing and just see what we can do. No pressure. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect all of the time. Emma, stop it. Okay. I just put white gouache all over my face. All right. Okay, what would make this better? What would make this better? I don't know. I feel like I'm going to make this bigger in the center. Oh, that might have ruined it. No, we're going to make it better. It's fine. I want it to look more like a sunflower. But I feel like that might have just effed it up. It's fine. I'm running out of yellow, so I don't have too much to go on anymore. Okay, so at this point, I just felt a little lost and you know what? Decided to add a little pop of color with a background and mixed up some pinkish, bluish, purple-y color and just put in a background because I didn't know what else to do. But it's funny, looking back at this video while editing it, I think my eyes fresh in the morning are a lot kinder than they were last night, because I'm looking at this now and thinking that is not as bad as I was making it out to be. I think in the moment we kind of have this vision in our head a lot of the times that we want something to turn out a certain way, and if it's not, we get so down on ourselves and then we can crumple it up and get rid of it when really it's not that bad, or it can be fixed. So my piece of advice to you, if you are feeling the same way I was feeling during this specific painting, just walk away and look at it in the morning with some fresh eyes, because you might actually see something that you didn't the day before. So that is my tip, because now I'm looking at it and going, that's not that bad. I don't know why I was getting so upset with myself. Granted, I was also really tired and it was like late in the evening. But you know what? It is what it is, and you learn something every time you paint. So there it is. It kind of looks like a little vintage floral thing. I don't know. Let's see if we can add some like detail to like some of the, what are they called? Holy moly. The leaves is what I'm trying to say. Want it darker. Is that wet? No, it's dry. This is typically not a style that I do. I usually don't even do gouache flowers, but we're going for it today and just creating. Really don't like this like sunflowery thing. So I'm going to try and add some brown to this yellow and define it a bit more. Oh, we got some white. Oh, we crushed down that white. It's not really too pigmented, so it's not doing what I want it to, but that's okay. And the great thing about this not being like a piece that I'm working on for someone or something important is you can just play around and experiment. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little intimidating to put this on YouTube, not gonna lie. Been thinking about scrapping this whole thing many times because I don't like it, but I feel like I'm just gonna put it out anyway because I like to punish myself. No, but I also want to be honest with you guys of the process of, you know, trying things out, and sometimes things, you're not gonna like everything that you make. Like, I really don't like this. I don't mind this. I mean, it's really watered down gouache. I think it would be nicer if it was, you know, brand new gouache from the tube, but it's not too bad. It's not awful. There. I think I'm going to stop there, but yeah. And all of this was created with leftover paint in my palette. And look at all the paint I still have left over. Probably going to wash this out now though, because these are like the last bare bits and it's not great paint right now in this state. And then same with this. There was just not enough watercolor in there to make it as vibrant as I wanted it to. Hence why I kind of switched back to this palette. But yeah, you know what? It was a fun exercise. It forced me to get out of my comfort zone and, you know, just paint on a whim without a plan, which I think I need to do more to just experiment, because maybe next time it will surprise me and I'll actually enjoy what I painted. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram for even more. Have a great day, guys. Bye.